Okay, so we've got a quick round of names. We've got Danny, we've got Oscar, we've got Karen, we've got Mandy, we've got Dave, we have got Liz and Loretta and Mikey. So where do we want to go with this conversation? Do you want to talk? Do you want to carry on talking?
What are you doing? What's that noise? What's that noise?
Oh, that's a Faraday cage. See, no facts in the middle of the table. I've just broken that rule. So, can anyone explain this? What this noise is?
Faraday cage, isn't it?
Danny, can you explain a little bit?
It's as you talk into it, the electric reacts to the sound of your voice, and it depends however your voice is. So it's like lightning strike. Every time you speak, it reacts to the your voice. Yeah, it's a Faraday cage, but modernised. Well,
okay, a modern Faraday cage. Does that make more sense now, Mandy?
Yes and no. I know what it is. I know what it is. But what it's about, it doesn't make sense.
What is this used for? What is this used for?
What is it used for?
I think they're doing some art projects.
So it's art, basically.
They're collating a lot of recordings and people speaking, and they're using it to display in their gallery.
So it's art, basically.
Leaflet out there.
Okay, so Danny's done the research.
Say that. Yeah.
He's good at that, doing the research. What's that?
Never gamble without knowledge.
Okay, is that how you won the lottery today?
Well, yeah, but that was a lucky dip. But when I'm doing the horses, I got to see the form.
Yeah. Does it make any difference to you?
It does, yeah, because most people just go and put a bet on. Oh yeah, I'll have number 5, but you're just throwing your money down the toilet because number 5 might never come in. So if you have a little bit of form, see if the horse come in, where it's coming, how it's coming, who's been training it, when's its last run, then away you go.
Yeah.
Never bet.
Have you been successful on the horses?
Yeah.
Let us know next time you have a bet and put one on for us. God.
Okay.
William Mills, meet me and William Mills.
Okay, so where do we want to go with this? Are we talking to any other gamblers around the table? Anyone play the lottery, play the horses?
Are you a gambler then, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah.
You?
Gambling's a fool's game.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah. Have you never won anything on the?
When I was 8, I put £1. My grandfather was a horse gambler.
Yeah.
And he lost his entire fortune on the horses.
Yeah.
But we went to the races, and I put £1 on a horse, 38 to 1, and I won.
Okay. Did you study the form?
No.
Okay.
I just did it.
You didn't sort of consolidate those early gains with more gambling?
No.
Okay. Any other gamblers?
No, I'm not a gambler, but I have fond memories of going to my in-laws and on a Saturday, and there they would be with a Sporting Life open on the table. Every race had a little ring round it, and it would be, friend said, what do you think about the 4 o'clock? There seemed to be a very working class kind of institution, as it were. You're perfectly right to say that it's a fool's game, and I don't disagree with you in any way, and I know there are tragically people, and it makes me sick when you get things like, bet now.
Oh, the adverts you're talking about,
Stop when it ceases to become fun. What is fun about losing a fortune?
Liz?
I've got to say it's the thrill of the unknown. I grew up with my granddad, my dad and my mum all studying horses, taking us as kids to the dog racing. And so I am quite a gambler, but I have won £10,000 before.
You've won £10,000?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I didn't buy a drink. I won that on a online bingo site.
Right, okay.
Because I gamble online, which is very...
I mean, what do you think about this thing that Ian's talking about? That is it like, are we being pressured by all this advertising to gamble all the time? You think it's addictive?
Yeah. Well, you're saying that. My sister-in-law, she's won 10 grand
from
the bingo. But I mean, she's put enough in it.
Do you think she's put in more than 10 grand over the years?
No. But she's put enough to,
Okay.
Curious that we are on this topic that you just won as well, and I just watched the little, it wasn't a show, wasn't a documentary, someone talking about lottery winners, and we are talking about well, proper, meaning like millions, you know, like the main, like jackpots and stuff.
Yeah.
So basically, apparently 7 out of 10 people ends up miserably after like 3 to 5 years, either in jail or dead or in debts.
Really? So winning the lottery isn't what it's cracked up to be?
No, you have to be super wise if you win that much money. You really need to be prepared and know what to do with it.
Okay. It's a curse.
Money's a curse, is what you're saying.
I think
Easy money can be a curse, yeah.
Okay. What do other people think is winning a lottery? Not what it's cracked up to be.
I'd like to find out.
What about winning the 10 grand? Was that a curse to you? Was there any downside to it?
The downside was that I didn't benefit from it. Everyone in my family become in need.
Right.
And so I didn't
you had a lot of phone calls suddenly.
and and then you get it back in little bits and pieces, so you don't really ever benefit. So, but I'm still trying to win another 10,000. So.
I mean, what would you do if you won, say, like 6 million on the lottery?
The first thing I'd do is buy a house and then go on holiday.
Yeah.
They're the two things I'd do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hate the thing. I hate the Paul. I don't do the lottery. I don't do anything like that because I don't want my life to be dependent on luck. Whatever I earn, whatever I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not being funny when I say that.
Do you think that's why those people cracked up, because they got their money from luck?
No, I think the thing about that is when you're in a situation when you meet somebody who you think is really nice, and in the back of your mind you're thinking, are they only after me for my money?
Right.
That is a curse. Imagine, you know, you have all human emotions, all human emotions, right? Love and all that sort of thing. But you have to think, are they only after me for my money?
Yeah. Since you won your 133, has your life changed? Are you more suspicious of people?
Not really. No, I beat them off with a stick, like to say, go away.
I don't know. I've met him already.
There you go. Tonight's your luck.
Karen, give us a final thought before you go.
Oh, I hope Liz wins at bingo.
Okay. But if she does, we're all going round there, and we want our share. We want our cut on this.
Sorry, I've got to leave, but please let me know next time.
Okay. Well, next one is either going to be, I think, 10th of October.
Yeah. No, because I've been out all day, so I need to go home. Yeah.
Okay.
I need to feed the dog and everything.
Okay. Any tips for tomorrow's races?
No.
No.
What? Nothing for the 4 o'clock.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, so
I'm going to meet you
yeah.
Danny, I'm going to meet you tomorrow, please. Do you do the football bet as well, like of a Saturday?
Okay. Well, I don't know, but anyway, Oscar, what are you going to say?
My friend's parents fairly recently won 1.8 million pounds. They have 5 children. She's one of them.
Wow.
Well, so they never had a luxurious life. So now they own a nice house. So they kept 1 million to themselves and then gave 200,000 to each child.
Right.
Something like that.
There's 200,000 left. What happened to that?
I mean, so if it was 1.8 and his 5 children, 200,000, that's 1 million, and they kept 800,000 to themselves.
Okay.
But I actually keep asking what's happening with the parents and what's happening with the siblings, and apparently everyone is fine. So, maybe that wasn't overwhelmingly.
Okay, so should jackpots be capped to a bit lower? Dave?
I have to say, I lived with my grandparents for a while, and I saw their relationship destroyed because he gambled. He was a carpenter,
right,
earning a meager amount of money, and his relationship was destroyed with his wife because he gambled it all away.
Right.
It was really tragic.
He was addicted to it?
He was addicted to gambling.
Yeah. Okay, so it can be. I mean, how do you know when it becomes an addiction?
See, I've got a saying: your friend is your pocket. Your only friend in the world is your pocket. When it's full, everyone wants to know you, and when it's empty, you've got no one standing by your side. So.
I mean.
Yeah.
If you've got like real friends, I mean, real friends are not bothered if you've got money or not. You know, I mean, I know somebody that got a load of money, and you know, it's difficult because there's two ways you can do it. You can either sort of like say to everybody you've got loads of money, or you can not tell anybody and you can just keep it quiet. You know, and if you choose the latter course, it's rather difficult because if you see someone suffering, you might want to help them out, but you feel you can't. Otherwise, you blow your cover.
Right.
You know.
Is that okay? Is that what's going on with your friend? That they don't want to blow their cover?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Secret millionaire.
Secret millionaire. Yeah.
Well, okay. Okay. If there's any secret millionaires around the table, we do need some investment into Talkaoke to expand it. It's not for me, obviously. Yeah.
I'm not a secret millionaire.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm undercover.
Yeah.
But recently I've discovered that one of my friends, well, I've known this guy I've known this guy for 2 years.
Swish, are you?
Well, he knows a lot of people.
No, he didn't win the lottery as far as I'm aware. But he's a very, very wealthy guy, and he's pretty much my age. And I didn't know about that for 2 years. I never asked. It was it. I never asked, and then recently it surfaced, and to be honest with you, my relationship with him is different since then.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, how's it changed?
I'm in a way more like I'm aware.
Yeah.
Bye. Good night.
Bye bye.
Before I was more relaxed. I was like, "Yo, May, let's go for a pint." Now I'm like, I need to respect your time. I know, you know, he flies a lot and he's doing this business. So I'm like,
holiday will be good.
Yeah.
So it's changed. It's kind of changed. Does having money toxify the relationship? We've got a couple of new faces. We've got Gary. We've got Tim. Let me just.
No. It's okay. Well, I was going to say, like, say you won £100 million on the lottery.
Yeah.
How are you going to know who the people that you are associated with are your real friends?
Does it matter?
In other words, well, it does matter because it's like, am I your friend because you've won £100 million and therefore you're going to give me this money or that money or whatever?
But I mean, you didn't get any money off of your super rich friend, did you? Not yet. Okay, you're working on it. Does money toxify the relationship? That's what we're talking about at the moment.
It does if you've got that attitude, first of all, or that attitude. So the person with the money, if they're constantly paranoid, are you only my friend because you're after something, makes it toxic. And then if your friends are tiptoeing around you because they don't want you to think they're only after your money, that makes it toxic. It shouldn't really make any difference.
Yeah.
I mean, you were fine, you had a great friendship for 2 years. The minute you found you had money, it all changed.
Yeah.
It shouldn't.
Should it change? I mean, what is going on there?
So we're still friends. Don't get me wrong. I'm just more intimidated. I'm sort of I don't know. It's me. It's my problem. But it has changed.
Hang on a sec. We've got new faces table. What's your name?
Gaz,
we got Gary, we didn't really get a proper introduction.
I'm Gary.
Yeah. We got Oscar, we got Danny, we got Ian, and we got Loretta and Liz and Tim and Dave and Mandy, and I'm Mikey. That's what I do. And by the way, Oscar, the secret is just being in the moment, and then you don't have to worry about it because you're there. You're in the moment. We're in this moment, which is, very interesting. We're trying to find out, does having money poison the... Have you got any friends that are minted, Gaz?
Yeah.
Does it poison the...
One of my friends is so minted, he's obsessed with mushrooms.
Right. Okay. Expensive?
Yeah, expensive mushrooms.
Yeah, what is the most expensive mushroom out there?
I have no idea.
Right, okay.
Fun guy.
Fun guy to be with, yes. Okay, let's keep this going, that's for sure. I mean, does humour actually kind of diffuse some of these tensions? If we've got rich friends, should we just tell them some jokes? Because you can't buy humour. Okay, I'm coming to you in a second, Gary. Tim?
Yes. When I was a student, I used to hang out with this quite rich people from where were they from? Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah.
They were like my best friends in the year.
Yeah.
But we end up me buying or the drinks. You know, whenever I go out, no, I don't care about I don't care about how famous someone is, about how much money.
All the drinks?
No, because this is what I wanted. You know, I think I would have done the same thing if someone was poor or rich or normal. They were the rich ones, and I knew it. And I knew
He
it.
sounds like a fun guy to be with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I knew they were rich because, come on, they've showed me a couple of times, but I didn't really care at all. Not me personally. Others might care. You know that all these people that take advantage of more wealthy.
So
people.
for you, actually buying the drinks was like more of a gesture.
No,
it's more
I would have done the same about anyone, right?
Okay,
because this is who I am, right? I'm the fun guy. You know,
I'm picking this up.
The more they take.
Yeah.
No. They never took. They never. Sorry.
They didn't take.
They never took advantage, right? They never asked for the drinks. I always. Yeah, this is who I am. That I always offered. Like they were like, no, Tim, it's okay. Don't. I'll do it for you. I'm like, no, man.
Yeah.
Actually drink.
No, they trust me. They drunk a lot.
That's another subject. Okay, we've got a new face to the table. What's your name?
Hey, good. I'm George. Nice to meet you.
George. We've got Ian. We've got Loretta. We've got Tim. We've got Dave. We've got Mandy. We've got Gaz. We've got Gary, and we've got Oscar and Danny. And I'm Mikey. Gary, what's your point?
Okay, so picture the scene.
Yeah, which one?
Las Vegas, and I'm in a cottage that Howard Hughes used to store his concubines in.
Right.
And I'm there working on a photographic shoot for... He used to store these concubines in the cottage.
We've got Gary's in a concubine storage unit in Las Vegas.
That was once owned by Howard Hughes. That's where he used to keep his girlfriends. So I'm there on a photographic shoot for Microsoft, and guess who's in the kitchen cooking chili con carne? Bill Gates. Bill Gates made me a chili con carne, and then the girl that I was working with from the agency. No, it really happened. Yeah. No, this was back in the 1930s. Let me just finish, please. So the girl I was working with knew he was looking for a wife, so she ended up giving him a blowjob.
Who?
The girl I was working with.
Bill Gates.
Yeah. But they never got married. It wasn't Melissa. But I was just wondering the extent that people go to possibly get fortunes, you know.
Okay, so you're saying this girl it was all about the money. That's
absolutely, yeah. And in Las Vegas, which is the epitome of the American economy, it's all about money. It was the perfect place for it to happen.
Okay, so I don't know what lessons we draw from that, but Ian, maybe you could help us here?
Yeah, I certainly can, because I have actually given Bill Gates a blowjob for money. Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't pay.
It doesn't pay, no.
No, it doesn't pay.
No. Did you get an upgrade on your operating system?
I beg your pardon? He didn't complain, let's put it that way.
Okay, right.
I'd like to elaborate. I'd like to elaborate on what Tim said about his Arab friends and him ending up paying for drinks. And I can't beat your story with Bill Gates, but I had this situation where
Steve Jobs, maybe.
It was me and Steve Jobs, you know, and it gave him cancer. No, no, I had this friend from Thailand, and I don't know, for some reason she was super modest, and I assumed she's also poor, financially poor, and let's say I was doing, okay, so we went to a restaurant because we were working together, and then a day off, whatever. And when the bill came, I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'll pay for you, because I knew she's working very, very, very hard, and she came. Exactly. She came from Thailand, and I could see that she's working really hard, and then she was supposed to go back and bring all that money, and that's what I assumed. And we became really, really good friends, and that evening I paid for the drinks and for the meal. And when I went to Thailand, her driver picked me up with the limo, and I didn't pay a penny or a baht in Bangkok for a week.
Right. Come and take a seat on the table of chat. We're talking about, there's a few different things. There's money, toxify a relationship. If Bill Gates cooked you a chili con carne, would you give him a blowjob? Apparently Gary's friends did. But you're welcome to sit there. Don't worry. Look, you've inherited some tobacco. There's all these questions running around us, and I guess it's more. Tim has got some very rich Saudi Arabian drinking friends that he insists on buying the drinks because it's part of his identity as a drink buyer. He's a drink buyer. He's not a drink taker. So that's basically where we are with this conversation. We've got Tim, we've got Loretta, we've got Ian, we've got George, we've got Danny, we've got Oscar, we've got Gary, we've got Gaz, we've got Mandy. What's your name?
My name's Katie.
Katie, and I'm Mikey, and this is Dave just coming in here. So that's what we're talking about at the moment. And in a way, it's about money, and it's about whether we can be friends with very, very rich people. Does it skew the relationship? Do you end up somehow wanting to give them a blowjob?
Difference between a bathtub and a jacuzzi with your rich friends and poor friends.
Really? So
yeah, if you go round your rich friend's house, he's got a jacuzzi.
Right.
Go round your mates, he's got a bathtub.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So look out for the jacuzzis. That's a good way of spotting the rich people. Yeah. Yeah.
Story.
Yeah.
I used to work in a bar in the city, Gresham Street, and I thought it was doing really well. And then the owner of the bar turned up and said, Gaz, you're making money. And I was like, how do you mean? He goes, we're making too much money. I need to run this place as a tax loss.
Right.
So drink as much champagne as you like.
Right.
Make as many cocktails as you like, but I need you to lose money.
Right.
Because it's bad for my tax situation if you make any money.
Okay. Okay, so it gets even more perverse.
Did you have parties and let people drink free? I mean, what way? Okay.
Okay. All right.
So my natural reaction was, okay, we'll have parties after the bar is closed, and we'll give drinks away for free.
Are you still working there?
No, I got. I moved on.
Yeah. I'm good, thank you, Oscar. Okay, so money's such a weird thing then. People actually trying to lose money in certain situations. It's a bit like that film, isn't it?
I just want to relate a little story.
Yeah.
Very little. I had a friend from Hull who came down to London.
Loaded?
No. Very, very poor. Very poor.
Yeah.
Well, not poor, just didn't have any money. He lived in a hostel, but not just in a hostel. He lived in a cupboard in a hostel. Every night he would run in past the people and hide in the cupboard.
Right.
And I was
he
working.
didn't know he was living there.
Yeah, exactly. So, and when we went out, I usually bought all the drinks.
Yeah.
And I know he was a good friend, and that was fine. And people used to take the mickey out of me. Why are you buying drinks? He's a ponce. All this sort of thing. One evening, I was walking home. I had a particularly bad day, and he was coming in the other direction, and he said, "Oh, Robin Hitchcock and the Egyptians, a favourite group of mine, were playing at the Africa Centre."
Right.
And I said, "Well, I haven't got any money." He said, "It's all right, I've got some money." We went out that night.
Yeah.
He bought all the drinks, paid for me to get in, and I actually had a drink with Robin Hitchcock, which was a great thing for me. And then after that, it went back to me buying the drinks. But that one night sticks in my memory.
Yeah.
And however much I paid, and I don't regard it as paying, but how many drinks I bought him in the past just didn't matter, because I now have that wonderful memory that I wouldn't have gone because I didn't have the money, and he supplied that memory for me. And that to me is far more important than all the drinks and all the things that I'd bought before.
And is he still living in the cupboard?
No, he's actually
like a
went back to Hull.
Okay,
bless him.
Yeah.
Charlie, his name was.
Yeah. Okay, so where are we going to go with this, Katie? Any views on this? Any rich friends? Any poor friends?
I've got.
Or are they all the same economic level as you?
I've got rich friends who think they're poor, and poor friends that think they're rich. I mean, it's interesting to see how people define themselves on the monetary scale. You know, and it's just interesting to hear people's experience of sort of wage gaps and disposable income.
Yeah, I mean, it is a question, I suppose, of like how much money, because we might have different amounts of money, but it's the amount that we're willing to spend down the pub that we're talking about. We're not talking about how much we've got stashed away or how big our credit card balance is. Come and have a seat. Come and get involved in this. Yes, you can. We're talking about rich friends, super poor friends. Ian had a friend who lived in a cupboard. Yeah, come to you. Yeah.
I mean, relationships. If you're going out with somebody and there's a difference in your income, it can sometimes be a problem. I mean, I had this boyfriend once, and he didn't have much money, and I'm sort of okay financially. He didn't have much money, and we never did anything because he refused to let me pay for anything. And so we never did anything, and I would have liked us to have gone out rather than just spend all the time.
So you would have spent the money, but it was about his pride in a way.
Yes.
Okay.
So the relationship fizzled out because you know, once you sort of just sitting around at home and cuddling, and that's all very lovely, but you might want to go out and socialise, go to clubs or go out somewhere, and that element was missing, and and it was a shame.
So sometimes that disparity of wealth can be an issue. Gary, what was your point?
Yeah, I was just going to say that some of the richest people are almost also some of the meanest as well. One particular thing sticks in my mind where we got invited to this barbecue at some Liberal MP's estate on the Welsh borders, and it took about half an hour to drive from the road to his place.
Right.
And he served the most cheapest fucking food you can imagine, And I was thinking, that's why you're fucking rich, you mean bastard.
Right. Okay. So rich people are rich because they
penny pinching. Not all of them, but generally, I think they don't spend anything. They hoard it.
On the Asda sausage
rolls. And then have a big house in the country.
And then buy a Rolls Royce.
Yeah, okay. Save on the rolls, spend on the rolls.
Misers. That's the definition of a miser. They just hoard all the money.
But I mean, at least he was having a barbecue. Do you know what I mean? He could have just kept all the sausage rolls.
He was probably burning a few fivers.
Yeah.
To keep it going.
Okay, yeah. Was it a tax loss? I got a new face to the table. I know you've been here before, but just
hello.
What's your name?
Mark.
Mark. We got George. We got Danny. We got Oscar. We got Gary. We have got Gaz and Mandy and Katie and Tim and Dave and Loretta, and my name's Mikey. And we're talking about Gary's sort of supposing that some of the richest people are also some of the meanest people.
John Paul O'Leary. Look at Michael O'Leary, the bloke that runs Ryanair. I mean, he apparently, I read somewhere that he wouldn't let his staff charge the mobile phones using Ryanair's electricity.
Really?
I mean, that's mean.
Yeah.
That's mean.
Yeah.
And also the payphone and John Paul Getty's house, I mean, for fuck's sake.
So John Paul Getty had a payphone in his house?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so house guests had to pay.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe some of the
past day poorer.
Okay. So are the richest people actually the meanest people?
Oh yeah.
And do we know rich? Do you agree with this? Do you know any rich people?
Rich people are mean.
Okay. Is that the full statement? Have you got any examples?
That's
any
it. No.
supporting evidence?
Any examples?
Don't be sorry.
Gary Hunter.
Who's Gary Hunter?
He's mean.
Who's Gary Hunter?
Donald Trump.
That
this guy. Okay. Yeah, I know because yeah.
Other people that are really rich, like Steve Jobs, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Or all the others, Bill Gates, or Mark Zuckerberg, right? They're not really mean at all. They're rich, crazily rich, but they're not mean at all. They try to improve society in their own way, but they're not mean at all, right? No. I'm talking about the other side, they're rich but not mean, like Mark Zuckerberg, like Facebook guy. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so the tech millionaires are not mean, but maybe Michael O'Leary off of Ryanair is mean. Mark, don't just go. You've not said anything. Do you know any rich people?
No.
Do you know any poor people? Do you know any poor people?
Everyone seems to be just a bit in the middle, really, to be honest.
What's that?
Everyone seems to be a bit in the middle, to be honest.
In the middle? But is that because it's hard to be friends with very rich people and it's hard to be friends with very poor people, because the rich people you feel awkward and the poor people you don't want to keep on buying them drinks unless you're Ian who's got the friend who lives in the cupboard.
Can I just add to that and maybe talk about privilege and being born into money?
Yeah.
Because I know Dave has hung out with Prince Edward in the Caribbean. And also, You look, I've photographed some of the poorest people in the world, but also I've photographed some of the richest. And one of the funniest ones was being invited to Buckingham Palace to photograph Prince Andrew, and he's a bit in the news now, isn't he? You know? And what a twat, you know. I mean, he was exactly like Hugh Laurie in Blackadder, telling you these jokes that weren't funny, and everyone was supposed to laugh. And they said, "Oh, you must call him your Royal Highness before you photograph him." It's like, I thought, I'm not fucking doing that. I just asked him to lean forward because he was such a fat gullet. And you had one of those rugs that still got the animal's head attached, and you walk down the corridor outside, and I saw Fergie from the back, and yeah, she did look like a circus horse, but all of the deer's heads above shot by Fergie, it was appalling. I only did it because it was for a charity, so I wasn't getting a fee or anything. But it was interesting being.
You as a mean person or as a generous person?
Just very, very stupid.
Right.
Yeah, really stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you got a point to make, Danny? You're sort of hovering there.
Oh no, I've got to go. I've got to work in the morning to make me money.
Give us a final. Give us a final. Are you not going to take a day off with your 133?
Oh, it's 130 quid. I go and spend that on cocaine and prostitutes. So.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, you better get on with this. Okay. We're all going round Danny's house.
Not really. I can't afford cocaine and prostitutes, but no, I'm off. Final thoughts.
Okay, all right. Here's one for you, Danny. If you won the lottery, if you had a bigger win, would we somehow benefit from that, or would the community benefit?
Yeah, you would. I'd get you all a drink.
Okay, it's on camera there. A drink? What are you talking about? Come on, it's going to be bigger than that.
I'll leave a drink and a blank cheque.
All right, well, that's better. You're working. Okay, so where are we going to go from here? We've lost Danny. It's given. Yeah.
I've left a blank cheque behind the bar. I haven't signed it.
Okay. I mean, do we?
It doesn't exist anymore, so that's
non-existent bank then. You know?
I mean, but in a way, that is what money is, isn't it? It's just bits, numbers, and bits of paper. But somehow we trust these things, don't we?
That's that thing. I promised to pay the bearer. That's always on the notes, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
That's kind of a really old-fashioned thing to have on a note, isn't it? You know? Well, that means you're going to honour the value of it, I guess.
But
I promise to pay the bearer.
Yeah. It doesn't. It's the Bank of England.
Yeah, I mean, how do we trust this? Like, we trust this very abstract, arbitrary number system, and
that's why you would have a run on the banks, isn't it? Because the Great Depression was all about people owning shares, and then suddenly the shares disappeared, and people thought, "Where's the money?
No, it wasn't.
Where was it?
It wasn't shares.
What was
it? It was their savings.
Yeah, a lot of that obviously.
It was nothing to do with shares. It was their savings.
But what did the savings consist of?
Really quiet tonight. You okay?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, could we pay with? Can we pay with?
Can I give you some money and get us a wine, please? Yeah. I'll have a white wine. You get yourself something, and all. There you go.
Oh,
yeah.
Just got that. Yeah, Sauvignon Blanc, okay, yeah.
Okay.
That was interesting.
All right, where are we going to go with this conversation? We're talking about. I mean, you know, we're dealing with all these bits of paper. What does it all really mean?
Is money evil, you think, or well, obviously we are evil.
But
is money?
Is money the root of all evil? Okay.
It's the pursuit of money. It's capitalism. It's you cease to become a person. You become a customer. There's a program on TV called Homes Under the Hammer, and I despise it because people's property should be homes, right? It shouldn't be a means to make a profit.
Right.
Okay, so you get, there's people that are homeless, and you get people move into an old rundown house, build it up for a profit, not for a home for somebody, for a profit. So when homes and that become commodities to make money out of, when food becomes a commodity to make money out of, when anything becomes a commodity, then people abuse it for the sake of money.
Okay, so when things become commodities, does it actually change our relationship with people? I'm just going to go to George, Dave, and then to you.
I don't know about homes becoming commodities, but I do have an opinion on the buy-to-let epidemic over the last 20 years. The problem with this is that you have all these people that were earning reasonable money, whatever. They weren't super millionaires, whatever, but they had enough to say, I can buy myself a one-bedroom flat, right? and then rent it out. What's the net effect of this is to be to hollow out the entire housing stock across the entire country for people that would otherwise be able to get on the ladder.
Right. So
and this is why this is why this kind of shit should be stopped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Dave. Go.
Greta Thunberg.
Oh, we're back to Greta. Yeah.
She's been propagandized.
All right.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, I would say to that I think that it's really good that young people personified by that particular person are taking an interest in the environment. I would suggest that the media has prostituted it in the sense that they've said she's gone all the way out to America in a boat that's ecologically sound, and now you get reports saying that, but the crew had to be flown in. I think it's I would go as far as say a conspiracy to undermine the climate change thing, because they're just picking faults with it. I think the girl is symptomatic of young people's need to have a planet to actually live in the future.
Okay. Well, there's a couple of subjects on the table. There's one. There's the money is the root of all evil. There is the Greta Thunberg, which just got thrown in by Dave, kind of on something that we were talking about 2 hours ago, and suddenly he's remembered it and listened to it. But
16-year-old girl.
But Ashley, if you
started the school strike movement. Greta Thunberg, right, is a 16-year-old girl who started a movement for school striking because she was really concerned about the environment to such a degree that she decided that really the way that the earth is going with everything, with all the scientists' predictions, is that given 12 years we're not going to have any climate change to be irreversible. She's 16 now, and when she was 15 she started striking every Friday. So it's basically say, what's the point of going to school, if I've not got a future? Not because she was being nihilistic, but because she wanted the world generally, people generally, to take notice of what the scientists were saying. I'm a massive admirer of
So you think
Greta
it's a good
Thunberg.
thing? You think it's rubbish? Okay, well, it looks like we're talking about the Greta Thunberg thing. We've gone from the money thing. So Ian was saying that it's about a passion for the environment. However, it's kind of been propagandized because they were flown in.
They're picking holes.
Because they flew in the crew to take her by boat.
Prince, what's his face? It says he only uses private jets because he wants his family to be safe. The thing about that is, okay, I can understand he's a prominent person for whatever he does. And he wants his family to be safe. I've got no argument with that in itself. It's
should he be getting a yacht to sail around in like?
That's a totally different story, isn't it?
Okay, well we're on the Greta Thunberg at the moment. Dave is
okay, so Greta Thunberg.
Yeah.
People understand Greta Thunberg as like this kid who just happened to be captured on the the banks of Westminster, protesting about the environment. But actually what Greta Thunberg is she is a product of incredible she's a product of massive corporate interest in what she is doing, which is like she's this girl that is like, totally naive and what have you, but behind her is this massive NGO complex, industrial complex thing that is going on behind Greta Thunberg, which is, you have to understand that the new wave of environmental awareness is that capitalism is totally behind it, and Greta Thunberg is the front of it. Her parents are the royal elite in Sweden. Greta Thunberg's mother is behind the World Wildlife Fund, which is the worst NGO that you can possibly imagine, because it is fucking up the environment. They are behind Monsanto, they are behind mass sterilization, they are
Right,
Check it out.
So Greta Thunberg is not everything she's made out to be.
She is
sorry,
a pawn.
what evidence do you have that the World Wildlife Fund is behind Monsanto?
Okay.
I mean, really?
What's happening in Peru?
Yeah, they're
okay,
in
well, let's
Peru.
spread this out a bit. We can find out. That's the sort of thing we can Google on the internet. But what do we think of Greta? Is she like a pawn in the corporate game?
Of course she is, because the whole thing is a lot bigger than one person.
Yeah.
However, the media likes to focus on a nice little girl doing that.
Yeah.
We should all be doing our own thing on that anyway and come together to try and do this. The whole thing.
That's it.
Well, no, I tell you, I'm a vegetarian.
Okay.
Right, which is a poor man's vegan, perhaps. I don't know. Yeah, and instead of giving up meat, probably the best thing you do is give up milk.
Right.
However, I don't export it because I know not everyone's going to give up meat. But I still think it'd be a good idea. I really think you've been a tad harsh on the girl herself.
Yeah.
Okay, she comes from where she comes from, but the message is the important thing, not the person.
Okay, so is the message still correct, even if she does come from a wealthy, privileged family that have got connections with the World Wildlife Fund and possibly Monsanto? I'm going to come to you in a second, Mandy. Let me just bring Oscar in.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. She's just a sort of a pawn. I do agree with that. However, I think in the whole picture, overall picture, she is doing a good job for the world.
What is the good job that she's doing?
Spreading the message. Well, so I think Mandy mentioned that she said, "Why are we going to school if we are exactly if we don't have a future?" You know.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
I do believe in global warming. Why? Because of the evidence.
Okay, well, we're going to park that for a second.
Yeah.
What is the evidence for climate change, for global warming? But I just want to bring George into this. You wanted to say something, George?
Yeah, but I just forgot what it was because I got like.
Okay, well, we're talking about Greta Thunberg, the girl.
By the moment when you said, I got swept up by the moment when you said, like, what was the evidence for global warming? But I mean, the question I have is that if she is a pawn, who is behind that?
Who's benefiting from it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think you've got some ideas about that.
Can I just ask a
but
question?
I think you've got. Let me just finish.
But the point with her, like saying like that, the reason she's on doing the school strike thing is because she's, as far as I understand it, is she's striking because no one else is paying attention to climate change, and she sees that striking by kids not going to school is, or her, whoever, is a way to bring attention to that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to come to you a second, Mandy. Let me just bring in Gaz.
I'd just like to say that in order to colonise Mars, you would have to destroy the Earth.
Yeah. Okay. So, what are you saying? It's a good idea, bad idea?
Destroying the Earth is technically a bad idea.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Mars colonist.
Yeah.
So the whole situation we live in at the moment is destroy the Earth so we can colonise Mars.
Right. Okay.
So 30 people, or 40 people, or 50 people can live on Mars. Whilst 200 billion people die on Earth.
Right, okay, it's a lot more than what we've got now. Right. Okay, so where do you stand on Greta Thunberg? Any views on Thunberg?
Sorry?
Any views on the girl, Greta Thunberg?
Well, I think images are very powerful.
Okay, and she's a powerful image.
Well, only if you like shoot her with a camera at the right angle.
Right, okay, shoot it with a camera. Okay. Okay, Mandy, and then Dave, and then Ian.
Okay. Well, firstly, I think that capitalism is actually the cause of the global warming, because we have to buy products all the time. We're encouraged not to repair them. We are encouraged to just buy them, throw them out onto a landfill site, and let them just kind of create more carbon. So I really kind of think that capitalism is all about making money. She is, and a lot of the environmentalist movement is all about repairing things. You've got the Hackney recyclers, you've got all these people like Friends of the Earth who are encouraging people not to throw out stuff and to actually repair it and stuff. Don't keep buying, you know. Capitalism is all about buying things. And, you know, so that is kind of now there is nothing in Greta Thunberg's message that is encouraging us to keep buying lots of stuff. I admire her because, I mean, she's managing to get, there's this young girl who's managing to get the attention of all the world and actually bringing this message. She's managed to get the British government to admit there's a climate emergency. Not that we're doing anything about it. Yes, I do. Okay. She's inspired me personally.
Is she an anti-capitalist, do you think?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, that's something we can have a little, you know, we can focus on. After the Greta thing is like, is it capitalism itself, and do we need to be more anti-capitalist than anything else if we're worried about the planet? But you've been biting your tongue, Dave, about the Greta
I'm
comment.
totally anti-capitalist. I really am.
Yeah.
But I think the single greatest shot in the foot that the progressive movement of the left faces is that CO2 is a problem. CO2 is not a problem. Plants love CO2. We love CO2, and we are as a society baying to the UN to save us. And it's the UN that is causing the problem. It's just hysterical.
Why are the UN causing the problem?
Well, we're looking to the UN. So the UN are providing these scientists who are giving these analysis, and they are the ones that have, like, since we were born, asking us to live this life of consuming. Consume. The UN, and then we ask the UN to save us. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
So,
are you saying that the UN are proponents of capitalism?
They are. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
totally.
and so the UN are maybe not the people to save us from this. Loretta, have you got any views on this? Greta Thunberg, capitalism in the environment? No? Okay, I'm going to come...
Can I just say that I'm really impressed that you've got David Icke here tonight. It's really, really impressive. I'm at a loss. We say that plants love the CO2, and I know that they take CO2 out of the atmosphere.
You're a plant eater,
That's why we're burning down the rainforests. I mean, if we love plants that much because they like CO2, then why is McDonald's happy about the burning down of the rainforest to get more grounds to produce beef for their consumers?
Okay.
You know, I mean, that's what everything is about. Profit. Homes are about profit. Land. We've stopped making land now. You know, people own land. To me, that's a strange thing, because I mean, surely something we have in common is the land that we walk on. But you know, it's crazy to think that you can actually own bits of the earth, because, as I say, they stopped making it.
Okay.
So yes, I think that comment wasn't consistent, really, meaning like the plants love CO2. Well, they absorb CO2. Do they love it? Well, we don't know. Anyway, there is a coin saying that Amazon jungle is a lung of the planet, right? So if we chop down the lung, there is not that many trees or plants to absorb the CO2, right? Therefore, definitely we shouldn't chop the jungle or the forest down for that reason. And we are like floating around many topics.
But, I mean, what are we arguing about? Because it feels like everyone is unhappy about all the capitalists chopping down the forest.
And then the bottom.
We've got to bring Nick in as well.
The bottom line is that we are flawed as humans, and we need to really work hard. It's greed. It's greed. That's what differs us from any other animal.
Lions are not good.
Yeah, I think I am.
Okay, well let me just, because on you face the table we've got Nick here. So Nick, let me just explain what's going on. We were talking about, I don't know, gambling or something like that, or money, and then suddenly Dave out of the blue mentions Greta Thunberg. The whole thing goes, like a boat across the Atlantic, just goes to the sides, lists all over the place, and basically now it's like, is Greta Thunberg like an agent of capitalism, and is she a pawn in NGOs and big corporations' game, or is she a hero saving the planet from destruction? And none of us here like capitalism. We all think that we've got to undermine, stick it to the man, but we've got very different views about how to do that, whether it's through Greta Thunberg or having a big party in a city or whatever. I don't know, and that's where we are right now. Like, Oscar thinks that the Amazon is the lungs of the planet and that we're destroying it.
I agree with that, actually. I think we need to preserve the Amazon forest. I mean, whether or not I just do. I mean, I don't know how much about the trees with the carbon and stuff like that, but, I think it will have some impact on us if we don't, preserve the Amazon.
Yeah.
And there's plants there. There could be cures for cancer. There could be all sorts of things in that forest that we don't know, and it's a resource that we shouldn't be destroying.
Okay.
Can I?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can come to. We get to Gaz because we haven't heard from him.
Like solar power, right? No one has talked about the downside of solar power.
What's the downside of solar power?
Well, you might be absorbing the sunshine.
Yeah.
And fucking up the planet. Like fucking up the planet,
right?
Because you're absorbing all the sunshine.
So you're absorbing too much energy.
You're absorbing too much sunshine, and it goes into these great big acreage of solar powers, without you realising that actually solar power might be a really bad thing.
Okay, it's bad for the plants in a way if we take away their fuel.
Yeah.
Amazon has been mentioned, but what about barrier reef?
Yeah.
I think that's very important to the environment as well.
Yeah. I mean, where do you stand? Have you got any views on Greta Thunberg? Do you know who she is?
No.
Okay. Do you think? I mean, what do you think the answer is to, like, avoiding? Can we avoid climate change? And what's the answer to it? Is it about just forgetting about capitalism?
I would think it's not avoidable.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to. No, it's just going to happen. It already has. It started, unfortunately. But there's. I think I heard greed mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So the greed still lives.
Is there anything we can do about greed? If we greed, Oscar doesn't strike me as particularly greedy. But he's saying that he's greedy and we're all greedy. Is there anything we can do about it if it's just human nature?
Chill out, I think.
Yeah.
And stop being greedy.
Okay, so we can
just take a different perspective on things, i.e., a bit more consideration of what happens, what is happening.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so where do we go with this? There was a point over here.
Yeah, probably one of the problems that I'm probably very unpopular at this table because I think capitalism has done a lot of good. Also, unfortunately, late-stage capitalism has really swung beyond to innovation towards consumption, and the problem is overconsumption, right?
So, what can you just rewinding? What good has capitalism done? Just to throw some things.
Because it has encouraged people to innovate in order to get their products out to the market, and it has allowed them to compete with other people in the market to do better than other people. So this is encouraged innovation in many ways. All the technological revolution that we've seen for the last 50 years probably wouldn't have happened if we were not in a capitalist operated society. However, late stage capitalism now sort of swings into consumption, where people are buying the latest iPhone for £1,000 or $1,000, and this is just obscene. So really the only way to counter that is to moderate consumption into, and to, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
Thing is, if you moderate it, then you're going into socialism, aren't you?
Okay. All right. Is that?
Socialism. What's wrong with socialism?
What's wrong with socialism? Is that such a bad thing? We've kind of got the capitalist side. Do we need to then have a bit of socialism just to moderate the capitalism, just to take the edge off of it?
I'm a fully paid up member of the Labour Party all my life, but I draw the line at that.
At what? At what?
I draw the line at
stopping people from buying
being
iPhones.
regulated.
So, I mean, what does that mean? Like, you don't want? You think people should be allowed to buy the latest iPhone?
No, they should be. No, everybody should be allowed to buy the latest iPhone, but everybody should be aware. Everybody should be aware of what's going on the planet. In other words, it's like if you're an environmentalist but you eat meat, it's total hypocrisy. Yeah? Yeah.
I don't know. Do you know, I'm wondering about this because some of the rainforests are cleared for soya plantation as well as beef. Yeah.
Most of the rainforests.
So soya is something that is a vegetarian food, isn't it? Or unless you're lactose intolerant, you know. So I don't know. I mean, I do eat meat and I do care about the environment, but I only have free-range organic meat. I don't have, you know.
Okay, is it hypocrisy?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's spread this out.
You know, another thing of destroying environments. I guess that's kind of where we're going, all around to some.
But I mean,
some sort of
the weird thing is,
environments or society. You know, there's loads of issues going on. Like I mentioned, the barrier reef. What about palm sugar and orangutans? You know, loads of environments are being destroyed all the time for self-purpose.
But the thing is, I don't think anyone around the table wants to destroy these environments, and we're all, apart from George, we're all kind of even anti-capitalist. So it seems weird that we're having this argument. We can't agree on Greta or the iPhones or anything when we all want the same thing. I'm going to come to you in a second, guys.
Two sentences. I have a good idea. Let's fuck up the planet, destroy the environment, and go to Mars. You would love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to Mars and we sent the signal back, and suddenly there's no Earth. Sorry about that. No, but. You know, because those guys, anyway. What I was going to say was palm oil was put forward as a future fuel, and we all bought into that. By Tony Blair. Mm-hmm. And then they said actually we're cutting down the rainforests to make your palm oil, and you're not going to be able to breathe. Is that right with you?
Yeah. So what you're saying, Gareth, that we come up with these ideas to save the environment and it just makes it worse?
Yeah. Because, like, the best people, if I may be so bold, to look after a rainforest are gorillas.
Yeah.
And they do it really well.
Okay.
You know, if you want to look after a rainforest, get in touch with a gorilla.
Okay.
Yeah, well, get on their mobile.
Okay, gorillas. We're talking. Any thoughts about the environment? That's what we're talking about here. Come and join us. Yes, that's you. We all want to save the environment, but we've got very different approaches, very different attitudes. Gaz says, ask a gorilla. Yeah.
But one of the simplest things you can do, everyone can do, if you want to be anti-capitalist, is reduce, reuse, recycle. Right. The best thing you can do is join a like one of these places where people go and repair things. This is a big thing. A repair centre. This is one of these great kind of like hackerspace type places where you can go and fix stuff. Like, it's bullshit that you buy a washing machine, it lasts 3 years, right? And then you throw the fucker out, right? This is the big problem, right? And it is cultural. What people should be aiming to do and campaign to do is not have this kind of this built-in obsolescence.
Okay.
You know?
Any views on that?
100% agree. 100% agree with that. That is absolutely. I feel very strongly about that as well.
Have you ever repaired, reused, and reduced?
Yeah. There's short the Hackney Fixers. They came to Shoreditch Library, and I brought a shredder round there. And I'd love to do more stuff. I mean, I'm not very practical really with fixing things, but they're very good because they fix it, but they show you how to do it as well. So if it happens again, you can repair it. And the whole idea, the whole ethos is all about, like, rather than just throwing it out and buying a new one, you fix it and keep it going. Yes.
So I completely agree on the RRR, and also I think education is very, very important. Meaning, now with the age of internet, we should be doing our own research. We should really be drawn to articles and podcasts tweeting about what to do to liberate the planet from what's happening, the problem really. And once you are aware.
What are these articles and podcasts about? Are they about?
For instance, so we've been talking about the jungle, the Amazon jungle. You can learn about companies which are directly or indirectly what's the word? They put the finger on chopping the forest down because of the cattle farming or the soya. So if you learn it's Nestle, for instance, then you boycott it. You don't buy products. You read at the shopping mall, is it coming from this or that company? And then you say, well, I'm not buying your product. I'm buying the competitor's product, which is more green, more sustainable. And tell your friends.
Okay, so that's the answer, to not buy the wrong stuff?
No, I totally disagree. I totally disagree, because it's like, what's happening is, like, we're putting a green label on everything so that we can live the life that we currently live and put a green label on it. And that is just absolute hypocrisy.
So how should we be going about it instead then, Dave?
You should be going about it by, like, living the life that you should be living, which is basically not involving yourselves in the things that are destroying the planet.
Okay.
Consumerism.
Not
exactly what I just said.
Right.
Research.
So for example, like, why should you waste, like, why should you buy a brand new computer or a brand new iPhone when there's like millions of these things available, like second-hand stores that you can buy and reuse?
Okay, so second-hand phones could be a way of doing things.
Okay, the ruling elite fear abundance. So
why?
They fear the abundance of crops.
Right.
They fear the abundance of technology. And they fear abundance more than anything else.
Who does?
The ruling elite.
No, the ruling elite. They extract abundance and then they sell it to you.
Yeah.
But they are terrified of actual abundance.
Right.
They like their wealth. They like abundance of money.
Not really, because they don't actually have the capacity to cope with abundance of money. Even money, even gold.
Yeah.
They like to suppress
and restrict
abundance. They are terrified of abundance.
Okay. We've got a sort of a returning face at the table. We've got Liz. You probably know everybody around the table. Are you off, Oscar? Or are you just getting a drink?
I wouldn't say.
At the moment, we're sort of talking about, what do we do about the environment? What's the answer? It's weird because we all want to save the planet. You were here for the Greta Thunberg thing. We all want to save the planet, but we've got radically different ideas about how to do it. There is, I guess, some agreement about reuse, reduce, recycle, but Gaz has just pointed out that actually it's the abundance. Abundance in itself is kind of anti-capitalist. abundance in nature, the abundance of nature. Is that why they're chopping everything down to get rid of the abundance?
They fear abundance more than anything else in the world. They have a pathological fear of the abundance of nature.
Okay. I guess because then it means things aren't restricted.
Umbrellas should be banned because it's raining.
Whoops. Oops, we had a little bit of a shift there. So where do we go with this conversation? I mean, is there's a bit of a tectonic shift here. Where do we go? I mean, listen, do you worry about the environment? Do you choose what you buy depending on what damage it does to the environment?
Sometimes. I'm not as good as I should be, but I have mentioned to you before about the use of plastic.
Yeah.
So, that's where my sort of thing is at the moment.
Try and avoid using disposable plastic.
Indeed.
Okay.
I mean, it's really hard to avoid using disposable plastics. They're everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, like everything, broccoli and all sorts of stuff, cucumbers are all wrapped up in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard, you know?
Okay. You can't avoid, especially if you're a vegetarian, you can't avoid broccoli. Yeah.
I'm the one, I think I do it. When I get my 4 berries, it's got the plastic on there.
Yeah.
And I cut it off. Not the fish to die.
Cut it up.
Yeah, cut it up. Yeah. Break it up.
Is that okay? So you cut up all the bits of plastic, but does that work? Does what's that?
It should work. I don't want any fish die if anybody eats it.
Okay, so the fish won't die if you cut up the bits of plastic first.
I've got to say, I'm totally against paper straws.
Why?
I don't like them.
Why?
Because they go soggy in your mouth before you finish your drink, and it's absolutely gross.
Right. Okay.
It's so gross.
Yeah.
It's better for the environment, though, isn't it? Because I see pictures of like turtles have it stuck in their eye in the plastic.
Yeah. Okay.
How about we just don't use straws because they are gross?
Well, I mean, all right. Okay. Ian.
It's made out of seaweed. I think I saw something. I saw a thing about these new kind of straws that behave and act like plastic. They're made out of some sort of seaweed extract.
Okay.
I've no idea. You might be able to eat them as well. I mean, I don't
Okay.
know.
All right. So, Ian, you're back at the table. I think one of the things that we're all agreed on is we're all concerned about the environment. We've got radically different ways of approaching this. From Gaz's abundance theory that actually we should make everything super abundant and then the rich, well, everything natural.
But it is.
Well, it kind of is, yeah. So, but just increase that.
I could grow tomatoes.
Yeah. Without any packaging as well, I suppose.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So I don't. What's the?
Do you grow tomatoes?
I grew courgettes once in a window box.
Yeah.
And it overtook my kitchen because they're very big.
Right.
And I grew it in a window box, and
Okay.
it was like the day of the Triffids.
Ratatouille though. You probably got some good ratatouille out of it.
But man cannot live on ratatouille alone, as we know, as the great.
Bible at me.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So.
Too much, didn't you? What do you feed them on?
Plants. They're wonderful orchid-like flowers, and I had a little window box. And I grew perpetual spinach as well, which was wonderful.
Is that something we could all agree on? Growing your own food? Is that something at least we could all agree on?
Yeah. Putting farmers out of business and things like that. No.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. If you grow, you know how to grow your food, you know, never starve in it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Are we putting the man out of business? Or the little man? Dave, can you agree on this? At least growing your own foods?
I'm into growing my own food, but if someone turns up on a street corner and provides some veg, it's cool. I'll buy it.
Okay. So go to the little man with the veg, not to.
I used to work for something called Green Adventure in South London.
Yeah.
And that was all about people growing their own vegetables, and they had kind of alternative currencies in there as well.
Yeah.
You're never going to put farmers out of business. However, it's nice. Kids nowadays, a lot of kids think that food grows in supermarkets because that's where they go and get. And I think it's good to have the connection between knowing where your food is coming from. I mean, with the thing about Brexit, I said it. If the Americans,
we've done well though. We've gone a long way.
indeed, if the Americans impose their standards on us, when it comes to food and what's so-called chemical-free food, then I will start growing my food even more because I don't trust the chemicals that are put on the food.
Yeah.
You know, so...
Okay, so...
I'm going and coming back.
All right, give us a temporary final thought, placeholder thought.
Okay.
Do you grow your own food? Is this one thing that we can all agree on when it comes to the environment?
No, I don't grow my own food, but I haven't got a window box, so...
Yeah. Have you got any windows at least?
I do have windows, but no window boxes, so...
Yeah.
But, when I get the chance, I will.
Okay. So, theoretically, at least we can all agree on this. Do you grow your own food?
No.
Loretta, would you like to?
I would like to,
Yeah.
Maybe when I have a garden on my own.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Looking to do.
Okay.
In this area, there's a lot of communal gardens where people have their own little plots.
Right.
The trouble is that these plots are meant to be community gardens, but once people start growing their own vegetables in these things, they become their ownership.
Right.
Okay, and instead of becoming a community thing where people get together and they compare, what's going on.
They compare their courgettes.
Exactly, their courgettes. Why not? It becomes their own little fiefdom.
Right.
And then it's like it becomes anti-community because don't touch my food. Don't go near my plot. That's mine.
So people tend to lose the plot with it a little bit. Yeah.
Wop, 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 wop.
I mean, that's my job in the middle. What can I do? Can I work with the material I've got? Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
I'd like to say good night. It's been a pleasure and very, very good fun. So thank you for,
Have you got any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. We've went through so many interesting topics for sure.
I mean, what do you think about this question about reduce, reuse, recycle? Can we live in a world where we don't actually just go to the shops for everything, or is it possible to change the paradigm?
We have to, and if we survive, that's a deep thought. If we really survive as a race, because the world will survive without us.
Do we have the skills to survive?
Maybe we will see that in the next 50 years. It's possible that we will survive, but I can't guarantee that.
Okay.
It's heavy.
You can't guarantee it. We want to. Yeah.
Okay. If you pay me money, I'll guarantee.
Okay.
Back to the money.
Okay, back to the money. Thanks very much. Thanks for having a go in the middle. We will talk. See you later. Are you off? I feel like it's kind of like this thing is like chilling down. It's getting too cold. So I feel like we maybe need to harvest the final thoughts here. From now, grow your own assembly, so to speak. And maybe it's time to get those final thoughts. Look, Rick over there is kind of like, you can't really see him there, but it's like a shadow of his former self. But let's come to the table and help us with the final thoughts. I'm sure you've got some thoughts about this. Let's get some final thoughts.
Are we getting into the realms of like we're all doomed and?
Well, only Oscar, and he's gone now.
Okay, so no, I would say the total opposite. We are human, we are resilient, we will survive, and we will get on with it, and it is just not a fucking problem. The problem is that the upper echelons of society are telling us that we're all doomed. We got to ignore that. We are fine as a species.
So don't listen to the voice of doom. Okay, all right.
Don't listen to Oscar.
Okay.
I am the voice of doom,
Yeah,
so
you think-
do listen.
Yeah.
I would, as a final thought, I would like us all to examine the idea of progress. If progress means acquiring more and more and more, then we have to get out of that. Progress is conciliating what we have, understanding where we live, and coming to terms with the fact that we all can't get rich off the back of the planet. We can't abuse what we have we have to look after it. After all, we're all custodians of this world. We don't own it. And we owe it to future generations to make sure, as it says in the Bible, we owe it to future generations to make sure they have somewhere to live that is sustainable.
We're having the final thoughts now, so come and have a final thought. Are we all doomed? Thank you, Ian.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll come next time. We have one of our cards if you want.
Oh no.
Take a card. You can log in, see yourself on the internet. We're doing final thoughts. Are we doomed? Is there hope? Is the environment over? Will abundance take over? It's going to have to be the final.
So we're not doomed, but in order to colonise another planet, we are doomed.
Okay, so if we go for this planetary ambition, that will be the final nail in the coffin. Yeah. Okay. Final thoughts, Liz? Any final thoughts?
My only final thought is that we need to all take individual responsibility. It's the only way anything will change.
Okay.
My final thought is that Mars is cold. It's too cold. So we should keep this Earth going. And I think we all need to believe in our own power and believe in ourselves and our own capacity to change and to change anything that needs changing.
Okay.
Really, yeah. I think
so it's back to the self-belief thing. In a way. If we can change, then the world can change.
Yeah, I think that ordinary people need to believe in their own power more. Yeah.
Okay. I know you've only just joined this, but you've, I guess, picking up the pieces of like.
The question is.
It's kind of we've been talking of. It all started with Greta Thunberg. You know, that little Swedish girl that went to America and whatever. But it's more about everyone wants to save the planet and is worried about the environment. We've got radically different ways about how to do it. You know, do we?
Well, I think the nations should get together first and sort things out. Because if you do it individually, all right, it might work in your own space, but at the end of the day, you've got to get the big stuff done first.
Yeah, so we've got to unite as a nation to do that.
Nations to do that,
Okay, and unite as a planet to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some sort of overall agreement. Like they're trying to do already, you know.
Okay, so is the United Nations the best way of getting through that?
Well, yeah, but they haven't had much success for a long time to do anything else like really. But that's the sort of thing,
Something like the United Nations.
But only with claws.
Okay, so we've got to take it more seriously, get together as a planet. Rick, you've been listening to this whole conversation. Any final thoughts?
Well, I think the Earth will still keep going whether we're on it or not. You know, if we make ourselves extinct, the Earth will still be here, but we won't be on it. So.
Are you happy with that outcome?
It's an outcome, I guess. I don't know. I'm not happy. If it happens, it happens. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Nature always takes over in the end, anyway.
Yeah, I think that was your point. Any final thoughts? Final thoughts on this side, Loretta? Final thought?
I just think, like Liz said, that we got to take responsibility for our own actions and try to better the world by contributing in the right way.
Final thoughts, George?
Final thoughts. I will stick with my reduce, reuse, recycle because that's something everyone can do.
Okay. Any final thought? Get you a final thought? Yeah.
One thing. I mean, I like the idea of recycling and trying to get the footprint down and things like that, carbon footprint. But what I don't like is the idea of trying to make everyone have a certain diet because it's unhealthy, in my opinion, the diet they're trying to make people have. So I don't like that idea.
Okay, so it's back to this forcing people to do stuff.
Do certain things,
Okay. Any final thoughts,
I agree with that.
In order to colonise Mars, we first have to destroy the Earth. And in order to finance the colonisation of Mars, the upper echelons, or the elite, or however you want to call them, would have to destroy the Earth.
Yeah.
Then we would have to colonise Mars vis-a-vis plastic in the oceans.
Okay. Okay, we're going to leave it there. I think we are. Any final?
Don't look to the UN to save you.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. This has been Talkaoke. Thanks very much, everyone, for coming. It's started to chill down. Climate change hasn't quite kicked in yet when it comes to this autumn. Oops, I said it there. But we will be back either on the 10th of October or the 21st of November. We're not sure when we're coming back. TBC, but thanks everyone for coming. And yeah, we just finished, sorry. But come next time. Any thoughts on the environment? Just give us a final thought. Are we all doomed, or can...
The environment's good, but we need to like kill more chickens for KFC.
Okay. Kill the chickens. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thanks. That's our final thought. Thanks very much. And this has been Talkaoke.